or versus working in the studio with the artist, I would say definitely working with the artist. Because now, like, you may have a track, sometimes you have a track, and when you email it to an artist, they're going to interpret it the way they interpret it, or whatever the case may be. But when you're with the artist, it's like your chemistry is together. So you get your point across, the artist get their point across, and you put it in a pot and mix it together. And the record becomes like, you get what I'm saying? You're giving your sound, the artist with the artist sound. Because as a producer, anyway, you're supposed to hear.
And you're producing a record.
There you go.
That's the key. You can't produce a record if you're not in the studio with the artist.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
basically.
That's where beat making and producers coming in. You know, there's a lot of beat makers and they're not in the studio with the artist producing a record, so
yeah,
they don't even know how to be a producer if you're not. They may have the ability. Let me take that back, but they may have the ability, but a lot of records aren't being produced. We're sending the beats to a lot of artists, and they're just doing the records on their own. So it's no.
That means you're a beat maker.
Yeah, it's no. It's no communication. It's no. It's no vibing together, coming up with an idea. Take that hook out, try another hook. It's none of that back and forth that used to exist in every record you ever heard.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's why, be a little biased because I'm a little older, is that I think music then, because those elements was there, it was different. That's just like in life. I feel like, in the earlier part of times, kids weren't wild and crazy as much because it was more supervision. You had, next door neighbor would, chastise your child sometimes. Yeah. Whereas they running amok now. And it's the same thing. The same principles apply with the music business and with music in general. It's just a free-for-all. Anybody can join. Anybody can be a producer. Anybody can be a singer. Anybody, there's no prerequisite. It's just, if you come in the room, go in the room and download some software, you make a beat, I'm a producer. You got a beat on the CD, boom. So it's like the same kind of theory and principle. I think it kind of, it takes away from what could be the best possible record sometimes. Then sometimes, maybe the artist just come do it and come up with a hit. It's less likely, I believe. I believe that's, everybody plays a job, and a part in that job is we're the producers, let us produce you. You're the artist, write the song, come up with the ideas you have, and let's put it together. And let's put everybody back in their respective roles, producers, artists, singers, songwriters, everybody do what they should do.
I prefer the commercial. Nothing against the independent artists.
Don't listen.
But
if you got that brown paper bag with that money in it,
you can be independent or that's why I just said nothing against.
Nah, it's not always about that either. Also,
it does play a role though.
It's stupid. It's the quality of the artist. If it's a dope artist, he could be independent, no budget, no nothing, everything. He's dope.
Yeah.
And we just feel the vibe, we feel the music, and it's no amount of money that can make you like that. Yeah. You work with somebody give you $1 million. We work with artists, major label. I'm leaving them all nameless, but we work with people that was garbage, and the check didn't really add up to the aggravation, the attitude, the arrogance, and all that you had to put up with and deal with, and the candles in the studio and bare feet walking and all types of stuff. So it don't really matter. My thing is the connection musically and the vibe. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I feel like to be a successful and a big producer, you know what I'm saying, production team or producer in the game, if you just do the research, they put it all into an artist. You know what I'm saying? If you take Dr. Dre had NWA, he had, Easy, he had Snoop Dogg, he had something to put a whole collage of music and a project together where you can see who they was. So you need artists and you need that chemistry and that connection. You know what I mean? Anybody you take, Timbaland, Missy, Aaliyah, anybody you can think of that's that level of a producer, that's the formula to have an artist that you have a connection with and your music, gets out to the people and they just like the whole, catalog what you're doing.
Yeah.